Your pocket change could be hiding treasure. Dimes from 1970, 1980, 1993, and 2005 may look ordinary, but some carry rare mint errors or are worth big money in top condition. Collectors are always searching for these valuable coins, and you might already have one without knowing it. Check your dimes carefully, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more coin finds. The United States 1 dime coin from 1970 is a piece of modern coinage that on the surface appears quite ordinary. Millions of these coins were produced by the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, entering circulation as part of the Roosevelt dime series that had been in production since 1946. To most people, the 1970 dime is a simple piece of pocket change, a coin spent and forgotten in everyday transactions. Yet within the world of numismatics, certain examples of this coin have become highly desirable treasures. Collectors have discovered that rare minting errors, special proof issues, and coins in pristine condition from this year can command staggering values, with the rarest specimens reaching between $60,000 and $133,000 at auction. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. Roosevelt was admired for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and he had also been a champion of the March of Dimes campaign that raised money to combat polio. The dime was chosen as the denomination to honor him, both for its practical size and because of this symbolic connection. The obverse design, created by John R. Sinek, features a profile portrait of Roosevelt facing left, while the reverse displays a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. BY 1970. The dime had already undergone a major change. From 1946 to 1964, dimes were struck in 90% silver. But beginning in 1965, due to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage, the U.S. Mint shifted to a clad composition of copper and nickel. This clad version of the Roosevelt dime is the one we see today, and the 1970 issue falls squarely in this modern clad era. At first glance, then, a 1970 dime may not seem special compared to its earlier silver predecessors. However, the value of this coin lies not in its metal composition but in its rarity when it comes to condition, mint errors, and certain proof issues that escaped into circulation. The mints produced an enormous number of 1,970 dimes. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced a similarly massive quantity marked with a D. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof coins intended for collectors, marked with an S. Among these proof issues, however, lies one of the most famous and valuable varieties in all of modern U.S. coinage, the 1970 S-No-S dime. This remarkable error occurred when the mint accidentally produced proof coins without applying the S mint mark. These coins were distributed in proof sets sold to collectors, and only a very limited number of them exist. Because of their extreme rarity and the fact that they were never intended to be released in this form, the 1970 S-No-S dime has become a true prize in the numismatic world, commanding prices that soar into the tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors today seek out not only the 1970 S-No-S dime but also high-grade examples of the regular issues from Philadelphia and Denver. Coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 are considered rare, as most dimes from that year entered circulation and show signs of wear. Finding one that has survived for over 50 years without blemishes, scratches, or discoloration is extraordinarily difficult. This is why condition plays such a vital role in determining value. To a casual spender, a dime is a dime worth 10 cents. But to a collector, the difference between a circulated coin worth its face value and a flawless coin worth thousands is all in the details of preservation. Error coins from 1970 also attract major attention. Errors can include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment during minting. Double die errors, where lettering or design elements appear doubled, are especially prized for their striking visual appeal. In some cases, coins were struck on the wrong planchet entirely, for example, a dime struck on a cent planchet or even on a foreign coin blank. These transitional errors are exceptionally rare and are among the most sought-after error coins in all of numismatics. Auction records show just how far the value of these coins can climb. A high-grade 1970 S-No-S proof dime in perfect condition can easily surpass $60,000, and in certain cases, Collectors have paid upward of $133,000 to secure one for their collection. These are life-changing figures for a coin worth only 10 cents when it was minted. It is this remarkable transformation that captures the imagination of collectors and keeps the search for rare coins alive. What makes this story even more fascinating is that these coins are not locked away in museums. They are out there in private collections, occasionally surfacing in auctions, and in some rare cases, they may still be hidden in forgotten proof sets or old coin jars. Many families purchased proof sets from the U.S. Mint during the 1960s and 1970s as keepsakes. It is entirely possible that a no-S proof dime rests unnoticed in one of these sets, waiting to be discovered by a lucky collector. The idea that a small coin tucked away decades ago could be worth over $100,000 today is a thrilling prospect that keeps enthusiasts searching. The historical context of 1970 also adds an extra layer of significance to these coins. America was in the midst of social and political upheaval during this era. The Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and cultural transformations shaped the decade. Coins from this period serve not only as money but also as markers of history, small artifacts of a turbulent and transformative time. The Roosevelt dime, with its symbolism of liberty, peace, and strength, reflected values that were especially resonant during that moment in American history. Owning a rare 1970 dime is not just about holding a valuable collectible, but also about connecting to that broader story. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes know that the series is full of subtleties. From 1946 onward, small variations in minting, design details, and mint marks have created an array of collectible varieties. The 1970 issues stand out not only for the famous no-S variety but also because they mark a point where modern proof set production was becoming more standardized, making the error even more surprising. It is a reminder that despite technological advances, mistakes still happened, and when they did, they created some of the most prized rarities in modern coinage. The allure of the 1970 dime is also fueled by its accessibility. While the ultra-rare varieties fetch astronomical sums, many collectors can still acquire lower-grade examples from circulation or proof sets as entry points into the series. This balance between accessibility and rarity makes the Roosevelt dime series, and especially the 1970 issues, appealing to a wide range of collectors. It is a series where anyone can begin collecting with ordinary coins, yet still dream of discovering one of the legendary rarities worth tens of thousands of dollars. Over time, the mystique of the 1970 dime has only grown. As more people learn about the values associated with rare varieties and high-grade specimens, interest continues to rise. Auction results fuel this cycle, as headlines about six-figure dimes capture the imagination of the public. The possibility that such coins could still be hiding in plain sight, in old coin sets or family heirlooms, adds a sense of adventure to the hobby. Every time someone opens an old proof set, there is a small chance of uncovering a dime that could change their life. The 1970 dime, then, is much more than a 10-cent piece of change. It is a symbol of hidden value, of rarity born out of chance, and of the enduring fascination with America's coinage. It reminds us that even in the modern era of mass production, mistakes and extraordinary survivals occur, giving rise to treasures that few could have anticipated. For collectors, it embodies the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the deep satisfaction of connecting with history through the smallest details. When we look closely at the 1970 dime, we see not only Franklin Roosevelt's determined profile and the elegant torch, olive branch, and oak branch, but also the potential for extraordinary worth. In the right circumstances, with the right combination of rarity, error, and preservation, this modest coin has achieved values between $60,000 and $133,000. That transformation from pocket change to a life-changing collectible is what makes the story of the 1970 dime so compelling. It is a reminder to pay attention to the details, to treasure the ordinary, because sometimes the most extraordinary value hides within the smallest of things. The 1981 dime coin is one of those pieces of U.S. currency that most people have handled countless times without giving it much thought. Small, silver-colored, and seemingly ordinary, it slips through fingers every day in change, parking meters, or vending machines. But beneath this unassuming exterior lies a fascinating story that has elevated certain examples of the 1980 dime from pocket change into treasures worth astonishing amounts of money. In fact, some rare variations of this coin, particularly those in pristine condition or with dramatic minting errors, have been valued anywhere between $50,000 and a staggering $1,220,000, making it one of the most exciting modern-era coins to capture the imagination of collectors. To understand why the 1980 dime is so intriguing, you first need to look at its design and place in U.S. history. The obverse features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, designed by John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's likeness first appeared on the dime in 1946, just a year after his death, as a tribute to his leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes. By 1980, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for decades, becoming an iconic and familiar piece of American coinage. On the reverse, the design shows a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. This classic design has remained in use for generations, cementing the dime's place as a staple of everyday commerce in terms of composition. The 1980 dime was struck in a copper-nickel-clad format. Since 1965, dimes have been made of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, replacing the 90% silver dimes that circulated before that date. While this change was primarily driven by the rising cost of silver in the mid-1960s, it meant that the 1980 dime was never intended to have intrinsic metal value the way older dimes once did. Instead, its value today rests on condition, rarity, and errors, the three pillars that drive modern numismatic excitement. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1980 dime is that while it was struck in the hundreds of millions, only a tiny fraction have survived in the kind of flawless condition that serious collectors desire. The vast majority entered circulation and suffered the inevitable wear, scratches, and nicks that come with use. A circulated 1980 dime, even in decent shape, is worth little more than its face value. But when a coin has been carefully preserved, perhaps pulled directly from a mint set or bankroll and kept untouched, it can achieve grades of mint state 67 or higher. At these lofty levels, the coin transforms into a rarity, and prices climb dramatically. The real drama, however, comes with errors. Error coins are accidents of the minting process, and they can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. For the 1980 dime, some of the most spectacular errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's design is visibly shifted to one side, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed. These coins are visually striking and highly collectible. The more extreme the misalignment, the greater the value, especially when the full date remains visible. Another category of errors that elevates the 1980 dime are double strikes and multiple strikes. In these cases, the coin was struck more than once by the press, creating overlapping images or ghostly double designs. For error collectors, these kinds of mistakes are fascinating windows into the minting process, and they can command huge premiums on the market. But perhaps the most spectacular 1980 dime errors are transitional planchet mistakes. These occur when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination. Imagine a 1980 dime struck on a copper penny blank or a foreign coin planchet. It creates an oddball rarity that slips through mint quality control and finds its way into circulation. Coins like these are often so rare that when they surface, collectors are willing to pay staggering sums to add them to their collections. It is coins of this nature, preserved in exceptional condition, that have achieved values soaring into the range of $50,000 to $1, $220, $000. Repunched mint marks also attract attention for this series. In 1980, mint marks were still applied by hand, so there is the possibility of finding repunched or misaligned mint marks. Though less dramatic than major errors, these subtle varieties add depth to the series and are highly sought after by variety specialists. Auction results over the years have fueled the excitement around the 1980 dime. Stories have circulated about coins discovered in ordinary change jars or in forgotten rolls tucked away in drawers that turned out to be worth tens of thousands. One particularly striking 1980 dime with a dramatic off-center error and blazing mint luster shocked bidders when it crossed the auction block, hammering down for a life-changing sum. Collectors recognize that these coins don't just represent money. They represent a rare moment in minting history, a once-in-a-lifetime accident that transforms a common object into a legendary collectible. Part of the coin's appeal also lies in the broader historical context of 1980. America was at the dawn of a new decade, with shifts in politics, culture, and technology shaping the country. The coinage of the time reflected stability, with familiar designs like the Roosevelt dime still circulating unchanged. Yet within that stability, unexpected rarities emerged, proof that even in mass production, chance and circumstance could create treasures. The 1980 dime serves as a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary secrets. For collectors, the 1980 dime offers lessons that resonate throughout the hobby. It shows the importance of condition, with pristine examples achieving values beyond imagination. It demonstrates the thrill of variety and error collecting, where unusual features can elevate a coin to legendary status. And it proves that even modern-era coins, often overlooked by casual observers, can achieve six-figure values when rarity and demand align. The wide value range, from face value to as much as $1,220,000, is what makes the 1980 dime such a compelling topic. It's the kind of coin that inspires people to check their change more carefully, to look twice at what might otherwise be dismissed as pocket change. The potential reward is too great to ignore. Somewhere, tucked away in a jar or still hiding in circulation, another rare 1980 dime could be waiting to be discovered, ready to shock the collecting world and make headlines with its value. The 1981 dime coin is not just money. It's a piece of history, a symbol of minting artistry, and in the rarest of cases, a life-changing discovery. For those who appreciate the beauty of coins, the excitement of errors, and the allure of rarity, the 1980 dime stands as one of the great modern treasures of U.S. numismatics. Whether you are a beginner just starting to explore the hobby or a seasoned collector hunting for the next big prize, the 1980 dime holds the potential to capture your imagination. And with values that can reach anywhere from $50,000 to $1,220,000, it also has the power to change your life. The 1993 United States one-dime coin is one of those pieces that most people handle without giving it a second thought. After all, a dime has been a steady part of American life for decades, used to pay for parking meters, vending machines, or simply tossed into jars at the end of the day. But the 1993 dime, while seemingly common, holds an extraordinary surprise for collectors and treasure hunters alike. Because hidden within the millions of coins struck that year are rare error examples and high-grade survivors that have stunned the numismatic community by selling for amounts that most would never believe possible. We're not just talking about a few dollars above face value. We're talking about coins fetching anywhere from $45,000 to $115,000 in auctions, an astonishing return for something worth just 10 cents in circulation. To appreciate why the 1993 dime has become so intriguing, we need to begin with its design and background. By 1993, the U.S. dime still carried the classic image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a portrait that had been in place since 1946. Sculptor John R. Sinek's design was introduced shortly after Roosevelt's death to honor his leadership and his connection to the March of Dimes campaign, which helped fight polio in the United States. The obverse shows Roosevelt's dignified profile with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 1993. The reverse features the Torch of Liberty flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing peace, freedom, and strength. This design had become deeply familiar by the 1990s, and the 1993 dime was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, with proof coins produced in San Francisco for collectors. With mintages in the hundreds of millions, one might assume that no single 1993 dime could ever stand out. Yet the U.S. Mint, despite its precision, is not immune to mistakes. And it is those mistakes, along with pristine condition and rarity, that elevate ordinary coins into incredible treasures. For the 1993 dime, several categories of mint errors and top-graded examples have attracted serious attention. One of the most famous categories is the double die error. When a die is incorrectly prepared, doubling can appear on the design elements of the coin. On 1993 dimes, doubling may be visible on the inscriptions, particularly In God We Trust, the date, or even Roosevelt's features. A clear double die error transforms a regular dime into a numismatic prize. Collectors know just how valuable such pieces can be, and when found in high-grade mint state, they have the potential to bring prices in the tens of thousands. Off-center strikes are another type of error collectors crave. These occur when the coin blank is not correctly centered under the press, causing the design to be shifted and leaving part of the coin blank. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains fully visible. A bold off-center 1993 dime in pristine condition is precisely the type of coin that could command values approaching $45,000 to $115,000 at auction. Broad strikes are also fascinating to collectors. When the retaining collar fails during minting, the coin spreads outwards, creating a wider, flatter coin without a defined rim. The result is striking and unusual, instantly catching the eye of error coin specialists. Combine that with a perfect mint state surface, and the value skyrockets. Wrong planchet errors are some of the most dramatic and valuable of all. In rare cases, a 1993 dime may have been struck on a blank meant for another denomination, such as a penny, a nickel, or even a foreign coin. These mistakes are extremely rare and easily recognized because of their unusual size, weight, or metal composition. A wrong planchet error dime is the type of find that can ignite bidding wars, with collectors eager to add such a one-of-a-kind treasure to their collections. Another spectacular error that can occur is the double strike, where a coin is struck more than once in the press. These pieces often show overlapping designs or ghost-like images, making them visually stunning. A 1993 dime with a dramatic double strike can draw major attention in auctions, sometimes pushing values far beyond what anyone might expect for a modern coin. Beyond mint errors, condition plays an enormous role in determining the value of the 1993 dime. Most circulated examples are worth only their face value. But coins preserved straight from the mint, without scratches, wear, or contact marks, can achieve extraordinary grades from professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. High grades such as MS67 or MS68 are rare and heavily sought after. Proof coins, with their mirror-like fields and frosted details, are also highly desirable, especially when they feature strong cameo contrast. And when a proof or mint state coin shows both perfection and an error, it becomes the ultimate rarity. Collectors have already seen real-world examples of the 1993 dime crossing into astonishing price territory. Auction records show that rare errors and flawless high-grade pieces have sold for amounts that defy expectation. It is these examples that explain how a dime could possibly reach the $45,000 to $115,000 range. For someone holding a coin like that, the discovery can be life-changing. Part of the allure of the 1993 dime is its accessibility. Unlike ancient coins or gold pieces that most people will never encounter, the 1993 dime is a relatively modern coin, struck in a year not so far in the past. That means there are still plenty of them out there, circulating quietly in pocket change, resting in jars, or sitting forgotten in old coin rolls from banks. This accessibility keeps collectors searching. Anyone could stumble upon one of these rare treasures, and that possibility fuels the excitement. For those who want to search, attention to detail is everything. Using a magnifying glass to examine each dime carefully can reveal signs of doubling, misstrikes, or unusual features. Checking the rims, the alignment of the design, and even weighing the coin can uncover hidden errors. Collectors know that patience and persistence are the keys, because treasures like these do not reveal themselves easily. But when they do, the reward can be extraordinary. The 1993 dime also holds significance within the larger story of American coinage. The Roosevelt dime series has been one of the longest-running designs in U.S. history, and coins from the 1990s are part of that ongoing legacy. While most people take the design for granted, collectors know that every year offers its own possibilities for discovery, and 1993 is no exception. What makes this story so compelling is the contrast between the ordinary and the extraordinary. On one hand, the dime is the smallest silver-colored coin in daily circulation, often overlooked and undervalued. On the other hand, within that sea of ordinary coins exists the chance to find a rarity worth tens of thousands. It is this contrast that keeps people looking closely at the change they receive in stores or while going through old rolls. Most 1993 dimes will never be worth more than 10 cents. But for the rare treasures that carry striking errors or flawless condition, their value soars to heights most people would never imagine. Hearing that a coin as small and common as a dime can sell for $45,000 to $115,000 grabs attention, sparks curiosity, and inspires the thrill of searching. And so the story of the 1993 dime continues. Collectors search tirelessly, armed with magnifiers and knowledge, hoping to be the one who finds the next great rarity. Some will search for years and never find one, while others will stumble upon a fortune by sheer luck. But in either case, the excitement remains alive because the chance is always there. The 1993 dime is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that treasures hide in the most ordinary places, that extraordinary value can be found in the smallest details, and that the pursuit of discovery is as rewarding as the prize itself. For anyone who takes the time to look, the next 1993 dime worth tens of thousands could be waiting in plain sight, ready to turn a simple piece of change into a story of incredible fortune. The 2005 one-dime coin is one of those small pieces of American currency that many people barely notice in their daily lives. It gets dropped into pockets, tossed into tip jars, or stacked into rolls for the bank. But for coin collectors and those who know how to look closely, this little coin can hold secrets worth far more than its face value of just 10 cents. In fact, some rare examples of the 2005 dime, particularly those struck with dramatic errors or preserved in pristine condition, have been valued anywhere from $34,000 to an impressive $94,000, making it one of the most fascinating modern coins of its era. To understand why the 2005 dime has gained such attention, it helps to look first at its design and historical role. Like every dime minted since 1946, the obverse features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's image was chosen to honor his legacy and his connection to the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio. By 2005, his portrait had already been a fixture on the dime for nearly 6 decades, making it one of the most enduring and recognizable designs in modern coinage. The reverse shows the iconic torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength, symbols that continue to resonate with collectors today. From a composition standpoint, the 2005 dime is made of the copper-nickel-clad alloy that has been standard since 1965. Its outer layers are 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a core of pure copper. This clad construction makes the coin durable, resistant to wear, and inexpensive to produce compared to the older 90% silver dimes that preceded it. While the 2005 dime does not have intrinsic precious metal value, what makes certain examples valuable is not what they're made of, but how they were struck or mistruck. Errors are where the story of the 2005 dime becomes exciting. In the world of numismatics, mint errors are like lightning in a bottle, rare, unpredictable, and highly sought after. For the 2005 dime, some of the most spectacular errors include off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted to one side. These coins often show blank areas where no design was struck, making them visually striking and very collectible. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the greater the potential value, especially if the date is still visible. Double strike errors are another category that can transform a 2005 dime into a valuable rarity. These occur when the coin is struck more than once by the press, leaving overlapping images on the surface. The resulting effect can be dramatic, with ghostly doubling of Roosevelt's portrait or distorted lettering around the edges. Collectors are drawn to these coins not just for their rarity but also for the way they provide a window into the mechanics of coin production. Some of the most coveted 2005 dime errors are those struck on the wrong planchet. In rare cases, a dime may have been struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination or even a foreign coin. For example, if a dime design was accidentally struck on a copper-cent planchet, the resulting coin would look completely out of place, smaller, lighter, or the wrong color. These transitional or wrong planchet errors are extremely scarce and have been known to fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Even smaller varieties and anomalies have attracted collector attention for the 2005 dime. Die breaks, cracks, and cuds, while not always as dramatic as major misstrikes, can add value to a coin and make it stand out from the countless ordinary examples. In some cases, Die deterioration or misaligned dies create unusual visual effects that collectors prize for their uniqueness. Condition also plays a major role in determining the value of the 2005 dime. Coins that entered circulation quickly picked up scratches, nicks, and wear, reducing their value. But those that were preserved right from the mint, perhaps pulled from uncirculated sets or carefully stored in protective holders, can achieve high mint state grades from professional grading services. At the highest levels, coins graded MS67, MS68, or even higher are exceedingly rare, and it is these pristine examples that command premium prices at auction. Stories from the collector world only fuel the excitement. A few years after its release, a remarkable 2005 dime error surfaced at a major auction. What appeared at first glance to be just another Roosevelt dime turned out to be a dramatic misstrike, with much of the design shifted off the edge of the coin. The bidding quickly escalated as collectors recognized its rarity, and the coin sold for a sum far beyond its modest face value. Cases like these show how a dime that might otherwise have been overlooked in a pile of change could instead transform into a treasure worth $34,000, $50,000, or even close to $94,000. The 2005 dime also holds significance as part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage. The early 2000s saw an explosion of interest in modern coins, thanks in large part to the wildly popular 50-state quarters program. Collectors new and old were paying closer attention to circulating coinage, and unusual finds like error dimes were more likely to be noticed and preserved. This heightened awareness has helped coins like the 2005 dime achieve recognition and demand that might not have been possible in earlier decades. Another element that makes the 2005 dime so fascinating is its accessibility. Unlike ancient coins or early American rarities, which are often out of reach for the average collector, the 2005 dime is modern and familiar. Many people still have rolls of coins tucked away in drawers or jars, and the thought that one of them could contain a six-figure rarity adds a sense of adventure to everyday life. It inspires people to look more closely at their change, to check their coins with a magnifying glass, and to learn about the small details that separate a fortune from a common dime. The wide range of possible values is what keeps collectors engaged. At the low end, a typical circulated 2005 dime is worth only 10 cents. At the high end, a rare error or a flawless specimen can bring in anywhere from $34,000 to $94,000. That spread creates a sense of mystery and potential that keeps people searching, checking, and hoping. Every coin has a story, and the story of the 2005 dime is one of hidden possibilities. The truth is that the 2005 dime is a perfect example of how numismatics blends history, art, and chance. Its design connects us to Roosevelt and his legacy. Its errors show us the unpredictable side of minting, and its value demonstrates how even the smallest and most ordinary of objects can carry extraordinary worth. Collectors are not just chasing money. They're chasing history, uniqueness, and the thrill of discovery. For those new to the hobby, the 2005 dime is an invitation to start looking more closely at the coins in your hand. For seasoned collectors, it represents another challenge, another prize to hunt, another story to uncover. And for everyone, it's a reminder that even something as small as a dime can carry weight far beyond its face value. Somewhere, tucked away in a forgotten roll or still hiding in circulation, another rare 2005 dime may be waiting to make headlines, and maybe even change someone's life. The 2005 one-dime coin proves that rarity and value don't always come from ancient history or precious metals. Sometimes, they come from the quirks of minting, the accidents of production, and the careful eyes of collectors who know what to look for. It's a coin that teaches patience, persistence, and the joy of discovery. And with examples known to reach values of $34,000 to $94,000, it's also a coin that could turn an everyday find into an unforgettable treasure.